Hi, everyone. Happy Thursday. Thanks for being on. We are ready to get started. If you are able and can turn your cameras on. Nice shirt, Stacy Patzer. I like it.
Thank you.
So cute. Would love to have you guys join me if you can. If not, no big deal. I get it. You're probably driving and doing some things. There's Stephanie, we've got several others hopping on, and I got a lot to share today. And so I'm not going to be sharing every single portion of the playbook, but I am going to share a good chunk of it, and we're going to move kind of fast. If you would like an actual copy of the playbook and you don't have it, if you can just email me, danagentry@kw.com, and just put like mortgage hacks or playbook or something in the email or the subject. We will make sure that we get you the full PDF of everything. However, in the meantime, I'm going to share a majority of it today and just a couple of other things from the industry update that you guys would need to know. Majority of it's going to be around mortgages today, though, and interest rates, lending, all of those things. And I want to give a shout out to Josh Dawson. I don't think he's on, but he's one of our agents and brokers in the, oh, thanks. Perfect. It's in the chat for you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. You are awesome to be on. Josh Dawson in our Columbus office actually shared some things with me too from our 1,000-watt subscription that I'm going to give you today. But so without further ado, here we go. If you have questions, just post them in the chat. I'll try my best to answer them. And I do want to say when we get to the mortgage stuff, well, this is in there, but having a great mortgage partner and or partners is extremely important. And so I'm gonna touch on that when we get there. However, for those of you that chose to be on today, I'm very proud of you because you're going to be getting perspective. And we are in a little bit of a shifting market depending on where you're at in the country. But however, perspective, it gives you hope. So if you're in a spot where you're like, man, we're so slow right now, or maybe you're in a spot where you are busy, but not as busy as you have been, hopefully this will give you some perspective. And your perspective should always come from data, experience, and the past as a predictor. And so I keep hearing so many people saying now, like what was old is now new again. And what we used to do, we're going to do again. And so I want to make sure that you guys are aware of a lot of this stuff. And that's what my hope is today. So I love to do this every time we have an industry update. If you could, please put your location in the chat and how is your market today? Are you slow? Are you dead in the water? Are you normal, steady? Are you busy as you've ever been? Let's hear from you guys. Yep. Terrell's on. Yay. Atlanta, slower. Columbus, hard for buyers still. Yep, totally. What else? Who else? Columbus, crazy. Yeah. San Antonio, still busy, but shifting. Yep. Lexington, Nicholasville, Kentucky area is picking up multiple offers under 300. DMV area. How's your market there? Fort Worth, Columbus still pretty steady. Yeah, Columbus busy, Columbus steady. Columbus has so much with Intel and everything else. Southern Indiana, multiple offers are heating up. That's good. Really good. So it's interesting. I do feel like some pockets will be more protected than others. However, I think it also depends on price point. I'm hearing a lot, and you guys can weigh in on this too. Just had 3 referrals today, 2 buyers, 1 seller, DC, Maryland. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I am hearing a lot that listings that maybe haven't sold before because of price or for whatever reason, like staging is back with a bang. Homes that look right, that are priced right, that show spectacular, they are the ones that are getting multiple offers. It's not just anything you put on the market getting multiple offers. Don't know if you guys would agree or disagree with that, but seems like I'm hearing a lot of staging coming back, people actually getting their carpets cleaned, actually touching up paint, those types of things. So I share this every industry update, and I want to just share it again. I didn't edit the bottom part, so don't pay attention to that. But these are the magic numbers that you need to know always to be an expert in the real estate industry, and those are 2246. This is when things are running smooth. When GDP is around 2%, inflation is around 2%, when the real estate market is appreciating at about a 4% number, and then unemployment is below 6%. If we can stay at those numbers, you guys, that's when things are really good. Right now, I'm going to show you unemployment. We actually, let me see if I have the next slide on that. Yeah, here's unemployment. So right now we ended 2022 at a 3.6. Unemployment, believe it or not, is really kind of almost where we want it to be. I mean, it's lower, which is good. You can see the times that it's been higher. We want that to be around a 6, and unemployment right now, we want to get it to a 5 to 6. So like 2021 was a good unemployment number. So we're a little lower right now. Getting it up is definitely the goal. I don't have a slide on inflation. Gary Keller did his top mastermind yesterday, and I was hoping I would get all of the slides before today, but I haven't gotten them yet. So I did take a screenshot of a couple of important ones. Inflation right now, I don't have a slide on inflation, but inflation is the issue. So we want it to be at 2%, and it's not. We're still somewhere between, I think, the 7 and 8%. I don't remember the exact number, and I'll share that with you when we get it next month. However, this is the issue right now, as inflation is still high. I'm sure you guys are still feeling this when you're buying eggs and red peppers and milk at the grocery store. Everything is high. And here's what the research team said yesterday on inflation. We've gone from an environment over the last 14 years where inflation was great, and now all of a sudden it spiked up so high that it's created a panic. And so everyone is in a panic. However, they are predicting, and what all research is showing is that by the end of 2024, inflation should be back at that number that we want, which is 2%. It's going to stay higher this year. It's going to stay higher next year. The goal is to get it down, but it's probably not going to get down to 2% until the end of 2024. So we're still going to feel the pain of inflation the rest of this year, and also mostly probably all of next year. When you look at home prices, so just so that you can adjust your eyes, the bluish kind of color is 2021, the teal is 2022, and then this purpley pink, if Adam's on, he's colorblind, so he's gonna have no idea which one is which, but the pinkish purple one is this year so far. So we don't have March numbers, but we do have through February home prices average. We're right at 363,000. So the reality with this is that we keep hearing that the prices are going to crash, that it's going to fall off a cliff. And the reality is that it's not, and it isn't. And actually we're trending right now. Well, January was higher than 2022. February was basically the same, 364, 363. March is trending a little lower than 379. It's actually trending closer to 375, but could end up being a little lower than that. So we'll see when the March numbers come in. However, it's not really crashing like people are saying. And Jason Abrams went on a rampage yesterday, which I loved, about, I don't know if you guys, has anybody seen Grant Cardone's Instagram reels or his YouTube advertisements? If you haven't, he's basically saying that renting is smarter than buying, and that right now everybody should be renting. And Jason and Mark went on a rant yesterday, basically disproving that and saying it's the craziest statement ever, because renting is not better than buying. And even though our prices are trending up, as Gary would say, the fool is the person who doesn't own real estate right now and hasn't over the last several years. So actually, yeah. So right now we're at 363 on home prices. New home starts, I like to put this in here just for all of, because I know a lot of you do sell new construction or you rep builders. Really the only thing that we talked about mostly with new home starts is that they're expensive right now. It's new construction is expensive, and the main reason is because land is so expensive right now. it's hard to find decent priced land, really. And so the issue with new home starts, and Gary has talked about this for the last several months, almost all the way into beginning of last year, is that entry level buyers need to get into new construction and they can't right now. So if you're a first time home buyer or you're an entry level buyer, in most markets, you guys can say if this is not true in your area, but in most markets, an entry level buyer can't get into a new home anymore. If you remember back in the day, I'm going to say somewhere between 07, 08, and then after, a lot of first time home buyers were buying new construction. They were buying, little 1,600, 1,700, even 1,300, maybe even square foot ranch homes, and they were getting in at really great prices. And the reality is that today that doesn't happen because new construction is so high up. Stephanie, what'd you say? I just had a call with my coach. Gary mentioned to them that the spring and summer should be really busy and then business may fall off. So save. Yep. I'm actually going to talk about that falling off of a cliff. The prices aren't necessarily going to fall off of a cliff. Oh no, it's good. I'm glad you brought it up. I don't think I have a slide for it, but the prices are not necessarily going to fall off a cliff if we go back to home prices. However, it does look like we are trending for home sales to start to decline in September. So really towards end of Q3, Q4, you're going to see a drastic drop in units closed. All the research, there's a lot of stats behind that. NAR is coming out with several too, National Association of Realtors. Home sales are definitely trending down. Last year, or just remember 2021, I believe the number was 6.4 million sold. 2022, we ended at 5 million. And this year, 2023, they're projecting 4.3 million homes closed. But yesterday they said, don't be shocked if it's 4. So we're definitely going to start to feel that. You may not feel it, like Stephanie said, you may not feel it in this first quarter and now moving into second quarter, but they're predicting August, September, we're really going to feel it. Okay, so mortgage rates, this is going to be what we're going to talk about today. If you have not already printed out the mortgage rates annual and laminated this to use for every listing and buyer presentation that you are going on, you need to do this. You need to have it. You need to have this one go, and I can send you this if you need it. Just email me and we'll send it to you. But this is the one that starts at 1972 and goes all the way through 2022. And it shows you, this is another example, a really great example of perspective. And this is the same thing that's on the slide right now that you're seeing in front of you. It just is it's a different color because it's a different slide deck. But what it does is it gives you perspective. So you can see our national historical average from 1972 all the way through 2021 is 7.81% mortgage rate. The rates were on average 7.81%. From 90 to 21, they were 5.97. So us seeing 2s and 3s and 4s, you guys, I know I keep saying this, but I just want to keep repeating it because we will likely never in the history of our lifetime, any of us on this call will never see 3s and 4s and 2s, absolutely 2s and 3s, no, 4s, probably not. We'll never see those ever again in the history of our lifetime. Because those were an unprecedented time. That was a thing that was a fluke. When you look back, I mean, people were buying houses at 16, 10, 12, 9. That was the norm. And if you look, the average historical is 7.81. So this is something really great as we talk about mortgage hacks today for you guys to be like whipping out of your back pocket all the time. It's great for you to be going on your social media outlets and talking about giving people perspective, because what are our clients and the consumers hearing right now? It's interest rates are through the roof. They're so high. They're skyrocketing every day. It's a horrible time to buy. And that's just not the reality. So we have to give them perspective. So on the rates, Gary said, really, ultimately, you guys, the speed of the rates rising is really what is the crazy part. It's not the number itself, because again, we're still lower than what our historical average has been over the last 50 years. However, it's the speed. It's going from 2 to all of a sudden 6, it freaks people out. And so it's the speed of the rise that's really crazy. I think I have this in here. Actually, let me go to the next slide. Hold on, I'm going to come back to these. this was something that Keller Home Loans gave us yesterday that's actually really good. So this year so far, refinance volume, refis have dropped 87% in the last 12 months. So when a lot of lenders were really busy doing a lot of refis, right now that's not the case anymore. Refis are down 87%. Purchase apps are down 38% compared to this time last year. So year over year, 38% less people are actually applying for mortgages right now. 76%, I don't know if this number's on here. Oh yeah, there it is. 76% of mortgage companies actually lost money in Q4 in the United States. That's a lot. And a big reason for that is number one, which is refis. I mean, right, a lot of our lenders made a lot of money off of refis. So the fact that purchase apps are down 38% and refis are down almost 90% caused for 70% of mortgage companies to actually lose money last year. And a lot of them cut staff. They did say though, and this is not on here, but credit quality is still A+ across the country. So it's not the issue. Credit is not the issue like it was back in maybe 07, 08, 09 coming out of the last recession. Actually, credit quality is A+. It's actually one of the highest, the highest that it's been in a long time. So that's definitely not the issue. I wanted to share these with you. I'm not going to deep dive into these, but how many of you have heard about the Silicon Valley Bank fail? It's all over everything, right? It's like everything we're reading and seeing right now. So they shared these slides with us yesterday. And again, I don't know enough about this to speak super knowledgeably, so I'm not going to go deep in it, but I did want to share it with you guys. They did share with us, this was to me the biggest, craziest part of this. Oh wait, where is my note? Hold on. I wanted to give you the exact number on this. The big reason why this happened, is because there were too many withdrawals in one day. So there were $41 billion worth of withdrawals, to be exact, from Silicon Valley Bank in one day. So basically what they shared with us yesterday is really why it failed is lack of diversification of business. So a lot of them were in the tech industry, they were startups, they were venture capitalists. So they didn't really have a lot of diversity in the businesses that were using Silicon Valley Bank. And so because of that, it left it exposed to shocks to the industry. So when you aren't diversifying, when banks aren't and getting multiple businesses, that can be an issue. Mismanagement of its balance sheet. They didn't anticipate liquidity needs for deposits. They sold assets at steep discounts. Panic rumor quickly spread in the VC world that the bank was in trouble. So actually they shared with us yesterday, this was wild, but people were going on like TikTok and just on social media and on YouTube saying that the bank was in trouble. And then what that caused is all these people to go in and make big withdrawals. So then when they didn't have the cash, because I don't know what bank has 41 billion liquidity, but when all these people were going in to make the withdrawals, they didn't have it. So they actually became a self-fulfilling prophecy. And then deregulation. I don't know a lot about that, but that's on there. And then they shared with us a recent events timeline. If you're really into this, then you are welcome to take a screenshot of it. However, it just kind of walked us through March 8th all the way to the 21st. And it was the timeline of different things happening with the bank. Signature Bank failed and they were seized, which that was another big topic. First Republic on March 16th received $30 billion in deposits from a dozen of the largest banks to increase confidence. Swiss National Bank stepped in, like lots of things happening with the banks here. And then this was just a little slide on what happens when a bank fails, because so many people, even my mom was like, do you think our bank is okay? Should we pull out our cash and like put it under the mattress, or something? And so there's when people start to hear that and you don't know, you jump to a lot of conclusions. So here's just a few things that happen when a bank actually fails and the options. And I'm not going to go through all those for time purposes. However, they did give us a couple of things that if you're ever concerned about your bank, did you know that legally you can request 2 documents from them? And Jason and Mark urged us to do this yesterday for those of us that own brokerages, like the Keller Williams offices that we own, because we do have a lot of money in those. Typically, most profitable ones do. And so he said you can request 2 documents from your banks and even from your lenders that you're working with. Number 1 are audited financials of their company that are certified. And they actually have to provide those to you. And then number 2 is their credit facility. Who is theirs? Like who is backing them? Who is the bank, the big credit facility that's backing them? Because he said we should be asking, how is your business doing? And then how is the business that you use doing? Because typically it's not just them. The 2 docs again are certified audited financials of their company. The banks can give you those. Whoopsie. Certified audited financials of the company, and then who is their credit facility? So who is backing that bank? Who's the bank or the company that's backing that bank? And they definitely need to give you and can give you both of those. So we are going to get into the mortgage hacks, and you are welcome. And I'm going to try to run through them as quickly as I can. And again, this playbook is in the chat if you guys need it. So I'm just going to run through a little bit of the beginning part of this, which is passengership versus partnership. And some of this you will you'll understand. So when a housing market shifts and a real estate agent finds their business to become uncertain, which typically they do, their math changes. And what that means is their conversion rates change, how much they pay for leads change, their expenses change, their revenue changes. They're looking at all of their new math and their new numbers. So Gary describes passengership is a little bit different than partnership. When the real estate market is strong and it almost feels natural for vendors and allied resources to become passengers. So he says, imagine the transaction as a school bus and the real estate agent is the bus driver. Once a contract for a buyer or seller is signed, the seats begin to rapidly fill up. Home inspectors, lenders, title execs, lawyers, escrow officers, movers, blah, 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 blah. You get the deal. And then suddenly all of these service providers are needed by the consumer, and each of them gain a new customer. However, none of this is possible without the real estate agent having the lead. In a strong market, that's okay. But when the market starts to shift and the activities that it takes to secure a buyer or seller double or even triple, there are less total transactions to be done. The cost of leads go up, the cost of appointments go up. And this is the moment that their vendors need to move from passengership on the school bus to partnership. And so this kind of goes over what the difference in that is. When the market changes, all of their partners must realign their value propositions. And they can do this through the following ways: provide market-specific information, provide direct financial support, as long as it's RESPA friendly, of course, create new consumer-focused programs, provide leads and appointments to the real estate agent with motivated buyers and sellers. All of these relate to all of the ancillary services. Mortgage rates are at the forefront of this market change. So the rest of this playbook is going to focus on that. So ultimately, many of you probably can raise your hand and say that you would agree that when you're really busy, all of your allied vendors and resources and allied partners, they just are passengers on the bus, right? You typically don't go to them and say, hey, I need you to be my partner. I need you to help me generate some leads. I need you to help me generate some business. So we're going to kind of walk through what that looks like. There are 7 steps. I'm going to hit a couple more than others. But when you're thriving in the mortgage market of the moment, there are 7 steps that you as a realtor, as a local expert, need to understand. You need to understand the market of the moment. You need to understand the current mortgage solutions available. I'm going to share those with you. You need to understand mortgage product hacks. You need to understand hacks for current homeowners, because just because they aren't selling today doesn't mean that you can't add value to them, right? And help them pay down their mortgage. We're going to go over that. You need to know the mortgage products that your lenders offer. And remember, that's different in different states. It's different with different mortgage companies and banks. Market and advertise mortgage products and hacks, and then market mortgage products and hacks to your actual database. So number 1, I want to give you some good ideas on this. Understanding the market of the moment. So I actually, I'm gonna run through this first, and then I'm going to show you some examples and something that I did today. But typically our clients, like I said earlier, they're believing what they're hearing on the news. They're believing what they're seeing on Instagram or TikTok or whatever. And so you have to really understand the market of the moment, and you have to understand it from their perspective. And so it says real estate agents perform at their best when they're either solving a problem that a customer has or presenting an opportunity to a customer that can better their life. So when you think about bringing value to your clients to keep you relevant, right, as you're touching them on your 36 touch or whatever touch program you have, you really need to be thinking about how you can be solving a problem, or you're giving them you're creating an opportunity that they can better their life or better something that they have. And so the first way he says is just to ask them. Asking questions to your database like, what concerns you most about buying a home right now? As you think about selling your property, what's your biggest fear? After asking enough people, they'll begin to match. You'll get to kind of see the same answers over and over and over. And then of course you can understand your market from the data. There's so much data between NAR and KW research team, and you're going to get a lot of that today. And then local and national events. But I want to share with you, I subscribe to a company called 1000 Watt, and they have so much great data, so many great ideas. And so they took a survey, and I want to share with you what some of the responses were. And I think you'll find this fascinating. This was done last August. So it's, about a little, not a year old, but a little less than a year old. And they fielded different, they surveyed different adults. 42% were already working with an agent. 55% had already been pre-approved for a mortgage. 80% planned to get a mortgage. 20% planned to buy with cash. And 46% were male. 54% were female. So I want to, these were some of the takeaways, and we don't have to go through them all, but the number one takeaway is rent is way too high. I mean, to rent a house right now is insane compared to what your mortgage is. Most of the active buyers seem to understand that the market has changed, but a non-trivial percent, I'll show you that, believe that the market is still hot, prices are high, and sellers have the upper hand. People fear paying too much right now, but buying a home that turns out to have problems is a strong second place of their worries. So making sure that they understand that they're not buying something that has problems is huge. Of those who already had chosen an agent, only 66% thought that the agent thoroughly understood the market. That is an insane aha and takeaway. I would make sure that in your language, you guys, that you are conveying to your clients, that you are saying things like, I took another class today to become the market expert. I'm your local market expert. Nobody knows the market better than me. I mean, you can't say these things if you don't really know that, and you aren't, you don't really know it. However, you're going to get a lot of information in here. And my goal is that you do know what that is so that you can let them know, because 66% don't know that their agent thoroughly understands the market. That should scare you. 31% of respondents who plan to get a mortgage knew what a rate buy down is, but when we then described what it means, 90% would consider it. So only 31% knew it, but after they knew it, 90% would do it. So here's some of the questions. I know this is kind of hard to see. I kind of had to copy and paste them on here, but I think this is really important to share. The first one was, what's your perception of the real estate market right now? 46% said the market is beginning to shift, but prices really haven't changed. Question number 2, what's your perception of the real estate market right now? 45% said the market is beginning to shift, but prices really haven't. Wait, is that the same question? Yeah, that's the same question. Okay, I don't know why they have that. It might be a typo. Oh no, they filtered the answers. Hold on. Oh, wait a minute. We filtered to capture only buyers currently renting. There you go. Sorry, I misread that. Yeah, renters. Exactly. Thank you, Stephanie. So you can kind of see the number shifted a little bit. Question number 3, right now, this one went to, who did this one go to? Shoot, I cut the top off of that. I'll have to find that. Number 4, do you think now is a good time to buy a home? And 46% said yes, 53% said no, but I need a home and I'm proceeding anyway. So that goes back to the emotional capital question. When people say, why would I trade a low rate for a high rate, which is one of the biggest objections that our clients are giving us right now. Gary says the answer to that should always be an emotional answer. It's a human capital question. You don't treat your house like you treat your stock portfolio. When people need to move because of the 4Ds or the 5Ds or whatever that ends up being, even if they don't think it's a good time, they're still proceeding because they have to, right? They're getting married, they're having a baby, they're getting a divorce, somebody died, they need to move closer to family, whatever it is. Number 5, I think that was the difference in renters. I guess the top got cut off, sorry. Question number 6, rents have increased significantly in most markets. Is this affecting your thinking about buying a home? 43% said yes, it's the number 1 reason why I plan to buy right now. That should be an aha, that if you guys are not finding a way to market to people who are renting, whether that's you're partnering with the property management company, whether that's you're getting on and buying names and addresses of apartment complexes, which you can do. I can't remember the name of that platform. I don't know, Stephanie, if you remember that, but I used to do that at Hamburg Farms. We would buy all the tenants' contact information from a platform. You can probably Google it, but that would be a great thing to do right now, because if 44% almost are saying, yeah, I'm planning to buy because rent is so high, I mean, that's a huge one. Why do you think now may not be a great time to buy a home? 63% said prices are still very high. What do you worry about most in buying a home? 44% said paying too much is their worry. Do you think your real estate agent has a good sense for the market right now? 66% said they seem to understand the market. 33 somewhat. Question number 11. Is talk or news about a recession affecting how you think about buying a home? 67% said, yes, it makes me worry a little bit. So they are listening, you guys. And the reality is they're thinking that we're going to have another crash like 07, 08, and that's not the truth. Question number 12, do you know what a mortgage rate buy down is? 43% said maybe, but I'm not positive. And then number 13 is, would you consider paying a few thousand to a lender up front in order to get a lower mortgage rate for the term of the loan? 46% said maybe, 44% said yes, I would strongly consider this. So I want you to think about this. Do you know how your database is feeling about the market right now? I took those two questions that they gave us back right here on this step 1, and I posted them today on my social media just to see. I don't know what the answers are because I haven't looked since I posted it. However, if you haven't done that, I would strongly encourage you to do this. This is a really great action item and takeaway from today. And just see what, maybe challenge yourself to do this once a week, or, once every other week for the next couple of months or couple of weeks, so that you can actually see how they're feeling about the market. Put a little form in your newsletters that are going out saying, hey, will you click on this link and fill out this 3-question survey? What are your concerns right now about buying? What do you think rent prices are too high? What's your biggest fear if you were to sell your property? Because until you know what their concerns are, you're not going to be able to help them. Step number 2 is understanding the current mortgage solutions available. Most people traditionally think that all they can do is a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. And the reality is that that's just not the case. There's many different things that they can do. Yes, Terrell, those are great MOFRs. Yep, I love that. Really, really great point. We're going to talk about MOFRs too. The FHA actually helped to create mortgage solutions that you can see available by creating the following system. So there are different things that you can do to not just have a 30-year mortgage. And we're going to talk about some of those. So understanding mortgage product hacks. So there are 8 different ones. And remember, a lot of the consumers were saying that they don't know what these things are. So my challenge to you guys would be, do you know what they are? And if I'm going to quickly run through them, but if you don't know what these 8 are, then how do you really know how to talk to your clients in an educated fashion, or be able to figure out what the best plan for them is to buy? Because they might be thinking that they can't buy. And the reality is that they can. As rates go up, what did that change for our clients, for the consumers? If rates go up, then what does that mean? I don't know if I'm asking that as a really good question, so I'll just tell you the answer. Typically, it means that they can't afford to buy maybe what they could with a lesser rate, right? Because of their ratios. But there are so many things that you can do to change that. So the first one is a buy down. And I'm just going to quickly hit each of these. How it works is a rate buy down is a way to pay for a lower interest rate by purchasing discount or mortgage points. The value to the client, buy downs can be a benefit to both the buyers and the sellers. Sellers get a competitive advantage, and buyers get to make a one-time payment to reduce their interest rate for the length of the loan. Sorry if you guys can hear that, but they're doing construction, and it literally sounds like this wall is getting ready to come down next to me. There's a big misconception about buy downs, and the misconception is that 1% is 1 point, and that's not accurate. In reality, really 1 point is only 0.25% of the mortgage rate that they're buying down. buying down the rate 1 point costs 1% of the loan amount. So this is something that's huge right now. Many of you I know have already been marketing. You've been getting your sellers to offer buy downs and putting that in as a MOFR, which is great. The next one is a 5/1 ARM. This is a type of an adjustable rate. And basically it's a fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. After the first 5 years, it switches to an adjustable interest rate for the remainder of the life of the loan. And so this can be, sometimes people can be nervous about these, but the reality is that, especially you guys, if you know somebody that's not going to stay in their home longer than 5 years, this would be a great option for them. The value is an ARM can be a smart financial choice for buyers who are planning to keep the loan for a limited period of time and or can afford any potential increases in their interest rate over time. So if for some reason the rate adjusts after the first 5 years and it goes a little higher and they can afford it, then great. That's a huge value to them. And other common adjustable mortgage rates include a 7/1, 7/6. So you just need to know what your lenders have available and be able to offer that to your clients. A 15-year mortgage is beneficial for those that want to build equity in their home quickly and pay off their loan faster. Most of you are familiar with a 15-year. This walks you through a 30-year versus a 15-year. So in this situation, if you were to take out a $500,000, if the purchase price were $500,000 and you were to put 5% down at an interest rate of 7% on a 30-year and 6% on a 15-year, you can see the difference in your monthly payment. So if someone could afford $900 extra a month on their monthly payment to pay their home off, to have a lower interest rate and to pay their home off in 15 years, that would be a really wise decision. I heard, many of you maybe have heard Linda and Jim McKissick teach their wealth building class. And if you haven't, or if you're looking for the new version of that, wait till the last slide because I have them coming on to teach for you guys in April and it's all their new criteria and it's so good. But what they share is that because of Jimmy's age at the time that they started buying a lot of investment properties, they did them on 15-year notes. And they might not have bought as many as fast as they could on a 30-year, but they were doing them on a 15-year because when they started, I think Jimmy was 40 or 50. I don't know, Adam, if you remember, but or anybody, or Stephanie, if you do, but Jimmy was like, at that, getting at a little bit of a close to 50. Yeah, that's what I thought. He was getting a little bit older in age. And so a 30-year to them wasn't really appealing because who cares if it's paid off when you're 80? I mean, they wanted to get them paid off quicker. So knowing the difference between a 15-year and a 30, a 40-year mortgage, just quickly to touch on this one, like a traditional 15 or 30, there's an option to take out a 40-year. An extended mortgage creates a lower monthly payment despite the interest rate being higher. So if you have somebody who needs a lower payment and they aren't necessarily as worried about the rate being a little bit higher, you can see the difference in monthly payment and the total interest over the life of the loan is higher. So they're definitely paying a higher, they're getting a little bit lower of a monthly payment and they're paying a lot more in their interest. Number 5 is a lock and shop. Keller Home Loans has this now. Some banks that you guys work with may have a lock and shop. They allow borrowers to get pre-approved for a loan and lock in their rate for up to 120 days while they shop for a property. Borrowers have the option to reset their interest rate to current rates once the borrower has purchased and has an executed purchase agreement and is within 60 days of closing. So that could be an option. And then number 6, seller financing. A lot of you are very familiar with seller financing. There's lots of different ways that you can do that. Land contracts, lease to own, you can assume a mortgage. So that always can be an option too. I found that this is a really great option if the seller owns their home outright, so they don't have a mortgage on it, and or maybe it's a second home. So seller financing is good. A trust deed wrap around mortgage. So this one is sometimes called an all-inclusive trust deed, and it's a form of secondary financing for the purchaser of real property. They do an all-inclusive trust deed, which is a new deed of trust that includes the balance due on the existing note plus the additional loan amount for the purchase, also known as a wraparound mortgage. So there's some value to sellers here and there's some value to buyers here. So here's an example of this. The seller agrees to sell the property for $250,000. The buyer pays 10% down and takes a loan at 8% for the difference of $225,000. The seller still owes $100,000 at 6%. The seller makes a profit on the difference in interest paid by the buyer in the original loan payment. This is a little bit of a different one. I don't know if any of you guys have done this, if you want to put it in the chat, but it definitely is an option, and it could be a hack that you could offer to somebody who needs it. Number 8 is home buyer assistance programs. Many of you have heard of down payment assistance programs, affordable first mortgage programs, mortgage credit certificates. You can find all of those in your area. There's a lot of rumor right now, you guys, that a first-time home buyer assistance program may be coming back, just because the level and point of entry for first-time home buyers is really tough right now. Bonus question: does anybody know in the chat why first-time home buyers are down so much right now? Let's see who's the first to answer. Why are student loans? Ding, ding, ding. Yep. Great job, guys. Yep. Student loans are higher than they've ever been in the history of our country. The price of college education is the highest it's ever been. Therefore, student loans are so high that people are living with their parents longer than they ever have, which is delaying them purchasing their first home. So that could cause a first-time home buyer credit to come back out. With who, type in the chat yes if you were selling when we had a first-time home buyer credit. You remember that? Was it $8,000? I think you got an $8,000. Yeah, $8,000 first-time home buyer credit when you bought. That was back in, when was that? 06, 07, 08? I don't know. I can't remember. 2009. Okay, there. Yeah, somewhere around there. Yeah. So yes. Okay. Susan was, she wasn't an agent, but she took advantage of it, which is really great. So yeah, in 2009. Yep. So it would be awesome, I think, if that came back. Okay. So we got to move quick. Sorry, guys. Number 4. Oh, I really got to move quick. Understanding mortgage hacks for homeowners. So these would be great things and great value to share with your clients so that they can understand the tools that homeowners can use to save money on the mortgage that they already have. So the first one is an early payoff. And this is just making one extra loan payment each year. So if you had a 30-year loan and your monthly payment was $3,160 and you paid off one extra payment just each year over the life of the loan, you would actually take your loan, your 30-year loan, to a 24-year loan, which would save you $156,000 because that's less than your interest, right? Hold on. There we go. Yep, there you go. So this would be, what a great hack for you to reach out to your current clients and say, hey, for those of you that are on 30-year loans, did you know, show them this, like screenshot this and send it in your newsletter, send it in a drip, send it in a text, put it on a postcard and mail it to them. Give them value this way. By making one extra payment in January, you are hacking the total number of days the mortgage is collected on. So you could actually help your people make their 30-year loan a 24-year loan. Number 2, pay bi-monthly instead of monthly. By paying monthly, the borrower pays a total of $31.60 per month. With a bi-weekly plan, they will pay $15.80 every 2 weeks. By switching to bi-weekly, the borrower will pay $493,000 in interest and will shorten the repayment period to just 24 years. That's a net savings of $168,000 and 6 years off the mortgage. So obviously you'd want to have them check with their mortgage provider. However, another hack that you could bring value to your clients to show them how they can pay less. Number 3, round up the payment. By rounding up the monthly payment of $3,160 to $3,200 every month, they could actually save 2 years on the life of the loan, and it'll save them $32,000 in interest. That's just another one. Do you make that second payment before the late? Yes. Yes. And that's why, Stephanie, I said you would need to call and check with your mortgage provider so that you can understand exactly. You definitely don't want to encourage anybody to have a late payment. However, it can be done. And somebody asked that in the chat, and I don't remember what the answer from Jason Abrams was, but I think if you just check with your mortgage provider, they should be able to tell you. But rounding up is another way. So maybe they can't afford to make a whole extra payment, but they could just round up. At least that's going to save them a little bit. Number 4, $1 a month plan. Each month, increase the payment by $1. $900 the first month, $901 the second month, and so on. This could reduce the term by up to 8 years. Number 5, use surprise money or bonuses to make extra payments. This is hard for a lot of people because they'd rather go buy a boat or get a new car or, get a pair of Gucci shoes. However, you can add that down to pay extra on your loan if you are looking to bring down the price of the loan. Then number 2, okay, so those are all number 1. Number 2, you can do a HELOC, which is a home equity line of credit. This gives the borrower a revolving credit line. Many of you probably already have this. And if you don't, you should definitely look into it. Much like a credit card, you can draw on the HELOC, pay it off, draw again. So really you're borrowing from your own money instead of borrowing from a bank. You can use the equity from the home without refinancing. You can use the equity for a down payment on a second home. This would be something great to do because as we don't see prices coming down, we know that the homes are going to continue to appreciate. And a lot of people, more Americans have more equity in their home right now than they ever have in the history of the United States. So this is a really great option also. Number 3, remove PMI. If they did not put 20% down in the beginning, then removing PMI is a huge plus for people. Once the homeowner has an equity position of more than 20%, they need to go back and make sure that they've had their home valuation done so that they can remove the PMI. So if they didn't put 20% down when they bought it, and they have enough equity in the house now, they can go back and get rid of their PMI. This is a big one that a borrower may or may not know about. Number 4, get rid of the escrow account. That's another one that they can do. Number 5, live in the investment property, AKA house hacking. Purchase a multi-unit property. The borrower can live in one unit while renting out the other. A lot of first-time home buyers do this, which is such a great idea. Number 6, refinance to a shorter term mortgage. If they are able to afford a higher payment, and they can go from a 30 to a 15. This is going to help them pay off their mortgage much faster. And then number 7, make payments with a credit card. Most lenders do not accept credit card payments for mortgage payments because they think that it just puts them in more debt. However, some lenders are now accepting PayPal, and you can link your credit card to a PayPal account. So I don't know a lot about that, but it'll just give you something to check on. Step number 5, know the mortgage products that your lenders offer. I'm not going to go deep into this one, but every mortgage, most mortgage lenders will offer a different product. So you just need to know what yours are. Step number 6, this is when you get into marketing and advertising product hacks. And this just shows the consumers that you're really knowledgeable and you know what you're doing. And number 2, it shows them that you can help them. It's just an easy way for you to reach new people. So number 1, you can post to social media, partner with a lender and post about what products they have. Add the hacks that we just went over into your regular social media post schedule. And then you can also, Terrell said this, but post about MOFRs, and any of the hacks could be MOFRs, make offers for immediate response. And then step number 7 is figure out a way to get these into your 36 touch plan. If you can put some of this stuff into your newsletters, put some of this stuff give them out at your client events, host a mortgage hack seminar. I mean, you guys have this playbook. It's in the chat. You can take the same exact thing, crop out the stuff that you don't want to share, chunk it up into 2 or 3 different ones and invite. I'm also having Kimberly Meserve back. Linda and I just had her on our podcast. We interviewed her at Family Reunion, but she's going to come back. I think it's in June, actually. I don't think it's till June, but she's coming to talk about her micro event and first-time homebuyer seminars. I mean, how many of you could just add to your touch plan this year when we start to slow down in Q3, maybe even, or do it before then, be proactive and have a first-time homebuyer seminar, have a mortgage hack seminar, do it at a local brewery or a clubhouse somewhere, or a breakfast spot or something like that. Incorporate it into that. Gary and Jay say in Shift, average is doing only what you want to do. Success is doing what you must. We are what we decide we will be, and we do what we decide we will do. We become our choices. And so to become the best version of your fiduciary self, you must master the mortgage market of the moment. And this is something that you guys, I really feel strongly. I know that this isn't like sexy and fun. And a lot of people, we don't have 80 on like we normally do because this goes over people's heads. But those of you that will get this and even take 20% of it and implement it out, I promise you it's going to pay off. because it's going to move people into logic versus emotion. Many of you have heard that, right? And right now, a lot of people aren't buying because they're not buying on emotion. They are not buying because of emotion, or they're not selling because of emotion. And really, if you can give them the logic, you can move them into that. And that's when you're going to be able to create more clients going into a downturn. And just as Jason Abrams says, just because there is less opportunity does not mean your opportunity is less. You have to figure out a way to double down on your business and do things differently. This is something that Josh Dawson shared with me. And so I definitely want to give him the credit because this is so good, but it came from the 1,000-watt platform. And I know this is really hard to see. However, what a lot of economists are saying right now, every realtor needs to have on your website a buyer landing page. And this just gives you some examples of things that you should have on there. 3 things most home buyers aren't thinking about now, but should. You can buy down a mortgage rate, right? We just went over that. You may be able to get grants or low to no interest loans to help with your down payment or closing cost. They did share with us yesterday in the top 100 update that we are likely going to see, let me find my notes. We're likely going to see more. Here we go. There are 5 million more millennials at peak buying right now than there were in the last 3 years. Gary said because of that, we're going to see more gift letters on the rise. Some of you may remember back in the day, we used to get gift letters. You're going to see more co-signing. You're going to see more things like where parents are going on loans with their people. But he said gift letters will be more on the rise more than ever, just because they want to get them out of the house and get them out on their own. And because the barrier to entry for millennials right now is so high, he said you're going to see more gift letters on the rise. So that's kind of what that talks about. Number 3, you may be able to refinance to a lower rate in the future. So these are examples of things that you guys should have on your website. If you're with Keller Williams, you just are all getting brand new agent websites and they're super nice. So get with your technology director. For those of you that are with me, it's obviously Jen Vickers, but you need to be having these things on your website, maybe even on the front page, maybe even on the page that your landing page for buyers, so that you can show them buying a home right now is tough, but we can help. Reach out for no pressure guidance, right? You want to be able to give them the information and show them different options. And then, so a couple of takeaways really quickly. How am I on time? Okay, I'm good. A couple of takeaways really quickly. New sites. Stephanie, great question. Yeah, it is technically supposed to be by the end of April. I do think that, I don't know, to be honest, if they are out right now, but they told us March, April timeframe, but by the end of April. So I'll find out on that, or if anybody's on and you want to type it in the chat, that would be very helpful. But I did see the preview of them and they're great. So they will be worth the wait. They're very nice. They're going to look a lot like what a lot of other sites that our clients are searching on look like, which is really good. So takeaways from today should be, how knowledgeable are you to share this information with your clients? How much are you sharing it? Are you sharing it in your newsletters, on your social media? Are you doing videos? Are you doing reels? Are you giving informative flyers? What are you doing to talk about the mortgage hacks? And if you're not doing something, how can you add this to your current 36 touch, or many of you are doing way more than 36 now, but how can you add some of these to your touches and get them in your regularly scheduled program, so that your clients and your database, and maybe even not your clients, but your future clients, as I like to call them, they're seeing that you really know and you really can help them. And the other thing that I don't have on here, and I want to be kind of sensitive to this, I really want to go back to that passengership versus partnership. Your lender partners are going to be more important than ever as we go into a shift. I mean, they are really going to be more important than ever. So I would encourage you guys to really think about maybe having, a monthly or bi-monthly or quarterly just lunch or breakfast with your partner and or partners. Understand what products they're offering, making sure that you feel like that they are competent and that they really are knowledgeable when it comes to this stuff. See about them partnering with you guys in some of these micro events, in some of these mortgage hack seminars. It's going to be more important than ever. Yes, Susan, and responsive. Yeah, are they responding to your clients? It's your partner when we're in a speed-based market versus a skill-based market, which we've been in a speed-based market. When you're in a speed-based market, your partnerships aren't as important. And I don't say that, they're always important, but they're not as important because you're in a speed-based market, right? People are buying and they're selling and you're rolling and things are busy. When you move to a skill-based market, not only do you have to have the skills, but so do your partners. And you got to make sure that you guys are in alignment with that. So I really want to challenge you to go back and look. They should be helping you generate business. They should be wanting to sponsor your events and help you figuring out ways that you can educate people more on this. So just think about that as you're entering into the rest of the year and as we tend to get to a slowdown. I want to share with you guys really quickly. Actually, I can't believe I'm ending early or on time. We have an amazing lineup for the month of April. I've worked really hard to get some of these people for you guys. So I want to quickly run through and share with you. You'll be getting an email tomorrow morning with all of these. However, many of you heard of Ben Kinney's event called Built How. It just happened in Palm Springs. It's a great event. He had huge speakers. I was unable to attend. However, my friends Lucas, Jenny, Robin, and Malia were there, and they have pages of notes to share on what Ben and Chris Suarez and Jamie Kern-Lima and Will, I think you say his name, Gardera, I never can say it right, but the author of Unreasonable Hospitality, and so many more. So they're going to come on and share their takeaways from the Built How event. So I would encourage you guys to be on that. This is a really special one on April 11th at 7 p.m. I'm having Dr. Kelly Flanagan come on. He is actually Adam and I's relationship coach. This is a different one, and he's going to talk about navigating the relationships that you have with your significant others. And if you don't have a significant other, I still encourage you to be on because he hits on some really great points on that too. But I did this at 7 p.m. because I want you guys to get on with your significant others. I'll be sending more about that out. It's a huge opportunity. He's amazing. Linda and Jim are going to be talking about their new criteria of building wealth in a shift. We've got Liz and Brian on our monthly. We've got Adam monthly. I'm doing industry update. And then you guys, I've been trying to do this for you for months. And I have finally James Shaw coming to talk about mastering the shift in a seasoned agent in a downturn market. And then we've got Troy coming back too. So really great events happening in April. And I encourage you to check all of those out. So I know today was a lot. Thank you for being on. Yes. Okay. Let me go back to the chat. Sorry, I did not do that. Just a thought before we go, ask your lenders about the difference between an ARM and an ARM hybrid loan. Yes. Great idea, Amanda. Yep. These are things. Oh, Abby put the link for the Eventbrite in the chat. If you're wanting to get more information or register for any of those April events. I think it's Liz, Markets Under Mentorship. I think that's Liz. That's you. What would be the best thing for new agents to do to prepare for slowdown when building their database? You need to get in front of as many people as you can, as quick as you can. Get as many names as you can. Open houses are great. Seminars are great. Anything like that to build your database. Okay. Thanks, guys. Thanks for being here. I hope this was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions, if you need anything, and have a great rest of your week. See ya. Bye.